Shabba. I'll make sure we get no scribes, it's unlisted.
It's not a true builder, is it? That wants
Yeah, you're right in by law.
Oh, sweet as.
They're not giving you any reason. This is the whole point. Yeah.
Why? You're very expensive. It rolls off. The draw was rather nice.
Yeah.
The best way to look at it, no.
Yeah, it's just good
What's the name? Help it
Yes. What did I say to you then? That you would use it when? Every day. That you would use it every day. Yeah.
How it should have a computer device. Who knows?
I should put that one in because it's I have used it once. It's only ever registered on water in. But I felt bad because that was the main problem. But wasn't a true builder.
See that program?
I've had mine that long, my rubbers not been off there. You just container, yeah. You never use them, so you contain your wick, plastic bottles and that. Yeah, so picture you have one of them a day. Uses the
Brother, you see people think that's what the schools doesn't teach you financial IQ. Get a job,
it's a present because you give me a big favour, you've helped me out more.
There's a way you can claim
I feel more boxes. I told you use them every day. I did try that one quick.
they're doing it.
Take it out.
Vatican, all that, they're all doing it, the international
Taxation goes to the back by the IMF. Yeah, but it's got that on there, so. Try that one, they're my favourite one. How much you like it? How much you like it?
He's given me as a gift, this is why I'm all from Tube like
I said I brought it to her and I've been expecting to give me a book. I've given him as a gift because he's done so much for me.
That's it. All alleged.
So there's no favouritism around there. No, you don't expect gifts.
That's it.
Gift, innit?
Chester. I shall call it Chester.
The rolling machine, I never used one all my life. I tried one, but it ain't good. It's not yeah, that's why I gave you that one, mine.
We don't know what we're doing or when we're doing it.
You make mistakes. You were. I remember mistakes on the way. That's why that was the goats took some words. Gary Watts. The best books are probably on usually about smells when I put it it's a book as well. I went on a course with
What's that name? You spoke to Josh and
Matt Seal.
He's gone somewhere, disappeared. Spain. Got them on combat. Some scribe put the thing about all his alphabet. It's like that. He's transcribed all the chart.
What, every letter? Yeah.
It's called the rules as well. So next one, points out there, you just give them something, they go away and come back. That's what we need. You want something to do, I've got 2 months, take some of that anyway.
And it's so good, it's just like, some people, like, you can't do it all yourself, so, like,
If you get interested, it's brilliant, it's like going fishing. You're like, what have we got? Let's bring in the catch. That's gold, that's shit, that's
no one can get as well, blue all convoys. It's money there, condom.
Yeah.
Because it's not good for us, is it? It shouldn't be.
Doing this wasting, it's effect wasted. If you're not using it to procreate, the class is waste. Therefore, the shouldn't be doing it. In a pure spiritual, literalist way. It's not being able to have more fertilize the egg. It's having casual procreation weekend at a fuel set where you don't want to joining the souls, but you don't want to join the souls.
Pleasure without food.
So yeah, you're right.
And then also, all councils will not about
Yeah, been talking to women all.
I'm not saying
tried to get him through today, but I don't know why. He's got a lot to offer. That's quickly.
No, I mean, on his channel, he's quite strict and he teaches, he just puts videos on the screen and I put a comment saying he did a video with some U and then the U and then he loads of dots and lines and things and I did a count and I did loads of numbers and right, I see U and then I see the word so U and double U because there's 2 U's, so U and double U and then when I count everything, the whole thing is 9. 2 9s are 18, 1 and 8 is 9, 3 2 9 is 9, divide by 2. See 4s all the time.
Yeah, imagine it's a book, yeah, it's a book way
When you comment,
yeah.
some nasty bastards out there, I've had to like delete all of them. People saying, you should really took it to heart.
Yeah, you know,
If I were to be character-wise, you'd sit there.
and that's why you've got to be, when you say someone just comes in listening to it, what's going on in that, right? You have to be careful because they're being entrapping you into a way of thinking and getting involved in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, it's very good.
We all get on, we all respect each other, we all have an opinion and we're all different. That's how it goes. Everybody says you've got
How's it you've been?
Benjamin Sells, of course. There's a famous case called the Home Court.
You can tell.
Oh
See
yeah.
that video I did yesterday about the sons of the
Shit, FPV. That's like.
in the year 101, he goes, right from the beginning, from Christ up when he goes, right, in 1500s, he goes, I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? This is okay, more investigation.
He's like, he's been putting out a lot of stuff like AMP, like Angel.
Particle, no, it's a particle matrix, and we're doing that, the team that are doing it, the angelic particle matrix, Cherok's line.
Yeah, it's so interesting that.
Nazca, Egyptians, tombs, and what we're doing with law, and when we're finding out the lineage of the blood, they're finding out together. Yeah, together, and I'm like, shit, that's the new British, that's the Gilgamesh, that's the
Like, you can tell the difference now.
How did you
took that original gnosis from fucking antiquity and made Even the original Hebrew, Torah, the tree of life. No, it's on the pistol woman. Let's see what I've done. Oh, it's actually the screen.
Oh, TV's just.
It's a little bit on the pistol, that's better.
Yeah.
You all want to start taking your seats? Steve, everybody, I think Andy's over here. I don't think any more recording, so if you want to, everybody take seats, we can do introductions. I'm not trying to take over. Just giving a note. It's Sunday, you know, time's getting on. So if you want to... Keep that door closed.
Do it. My best advice. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can always correct your mistakes.
Ah, well done, nice one. Put wood in on. They're on little.
Okay, I think we've got everybody we're going to get for now.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. Today we're going to do a little presentation, but before we start, I'd just like to let you know that toilets are just through that door and straight up across to your left there. The main door is our fire escape, so in case anybody combusts, that's where we go straight out of there. Thank you all for coming. I know some of you have come a long way, so really appreciate your attendance. Andy's going to do a presentation now, and then afterwards there'll be a chance to ask a few questions in between each part of the presentation to make sure everybody's keeping up to speed, and then there'll be another chance at the end of it. Once that's finished, David's going to come over and tell you a little bit about the .com and how you can get in touch with us. Okay, so without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Andy. We are
Andy.
I'd like to say thank you to Pete and Steve for arranging it, going out, getting you. Who's come with, who's this man invited here? Who's come with, I've said hello to a few new faces, I think this corner. Yeah, boys, thank you very much for coming, well done. Both of these, because without them we wouldn't be here today. And, yeah, thank you, brothers. Go on, Andy.
Okay, thank you all.
Yeah.
I'm Andrew, commonly called Andy. You and the law. We want to talk today about the jurisdictions of law, what it means to us as a man, what it means to us if you're a person, what the different jurisdictions are, what the different verbiages, the verbatim, and everything within it. The word you, straight away. Are you a convict? Are you a good man? Are you, even you? I am I, you or you. Don't ever accept the word you. Know your standing. You're always upstanding, otherwise we're lying down. To be lying down is the legal fiction in the corporate world. You have to be upstanding, righteous, but without the puffed up chest. The jurisdictions of the law. Universal law. In law and ethics, universal law or universal principle refers as concepts of legal legitimacy actions, whereby those principles and rules for governing human beings, conduct which are most universal in their acceptability. Their acceptability, the translation and philosophical basis are therefore considered to be most legitimate. The word human is the colour of man. Hue is colour. Man at the end. So you get caught with Black's Law Dictionary, the colour of law. It's the incorrect jurisdiction of the law. Universal is also made up with the natural law, which is also made up by the Roman Empire. Anything that's written is made by those. The laws of mentalism, attraction, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. They're the laws of attraction. They're natural laws, but you can consider them as the universal. The natural law is a philosophy asserted that certain rights are inherited by virtue of human nature, endowed by nature, traditionally by God or a transcendent source, and that these can be understood universally through human reason, or what we would know as principle, the principalities. We use these words in here, like human and God. They are all, you can see, it's got the capital G on God. That is a mix of the jurisdiction of the law right there. It's uppercased. It's not for man. It's a legalese term. When we hear the word God, Lord, Lord is uppercased at the beginning. God is uppercased, so they're mixing it up. They're showing you right there, there's a split title. They've given man a split title in the birth certificate situation. They've also donned us with a title, Mr., Miss, or whatever you. Common law is that body of law derived from judicial decisions of courts and similar tribunals. The defining characteristics of common law is that it arises as precedent. In cases where the parties disagree on what the law is, a common law court looks to past precedent decisions of relevant courts and synthesises the principles of those past cases as applicable to the current, or what we would know now as case law. They would refer to cases previous and see what they done there. Equity law runs alongside common law to complement where common law is lacking. So, common law isn't at law level, it's public, it's civil. If you are suffered a wrong in the common law realm and you can't get it right, you can invoke the maxims of equity, but you have to be in equity to do equity. It comes with certain maxims which are rules therein. We'll talk about that shortly. Admiralty law or maritime law is a body of law that governs nautical issues. It's a body of law, like a body corporate, like a person. Maritime disputes. Admiralty law consists of both domestic law on maritime activities and private international law governing the relationships between private parties operating or using ocean-going ships. Any ship, partnership. You know the one. Canon law, a set of ordinances and regulations made by ecclesiastical authority for the government of a Christian organisation or church and its members. It is the internal ecclesiastical law or operational policy governing the Catholic Church. Every person of this realm is Catholic. I don't care what your religion is, what your race, gender, colour. Every person is Catholic. It's a piece of paper. The landmass England is Christian. It's a Christian jurisdiction. We can't help that, it's just what it is. If we was born in Syria, we'd be in the Muslim jurisdiction under the Sharia law. We're not, we happen to be here. How they determine that now between the Catholics and the Christians comes down to the battle of a religion. I would call it a faith, that we battle both the Christian and the Catholic organisations with. Because that's what the book does, the King James Version of the Bible. And that's what I advocate, to dispel all of these claims, ecclesiastical and canon, and blow them out of their waters. The maxims of law. No man can tax another man or woman. Taxes are for persons, it's all corporate. It's acquiescence. Any affidavit unrebutted becomes law, your law. He who holds the law is the law. If you come with clean hands and you are invoking equity, you are the law. When evoking the maxims of equity, equity is fairness, equality. It's what's good for all, for them and for you. All agreements or contracts must be just right and proper. Justified, righteous and proper. If you can't give it justification, it's not righteous. And then for certain it must be improper. You must have those three. If any fraud has been committed against you, all agreements are null and void and can be discharged immediately. What is a person? A person is a fictional entity created at the time of your birth. And sometime after we was born. We're normally born and we're given up to 14 days to register a birth. Upon that registration, it's a registration of an event. Thank you, brother. That only exists on pieces of paper, which is a two-dimensional dead entity, which would be the same as Quick Fit Tyres or McDonald's or Burger King. Your person is an estate trust. Created, it says with your name, I'll say with your calling. It has your family name in capital letters, and it is used to enslave you to the mercantile corporate domain of commerce under maritime and admiralty law. That's where they are committing personage and barratry and usurping our energy and stealing our fiat currency, of which we earn through good righteous intent. If you accept this situation and willfully agree to represent this fictional person in court or on any correspondence, with you capitalised name you are consenting to you and you're being brought forward and sold on the stock exchange of the world as chattel or cattle or just boxes of cargo set adrift and floating on the high seas of commerce. That's what a person is. It's abandoned, discarded, you know, and we need to be reclaimed, and that's what they do. They reclaim us and take all the benefits that we are and steal it for themselves. Does that seem right? Would you like to learn how to keep your ship and correct in this situation? Equity. The use of the principles of justice to supplement the systems of law, so far developed in order to bring about fairness. The principles, that's where the maxims derive from. It's the principles of man, the principality of how we live. All of these maxims of law have all derived from a religion called Hinduism. They have all from the laws of succession, inherent succession that the family used to abide by, and they have seen an inherent profitable business within it. The doctrine of the legal system is the complete antithesis of equity. Legal used to be spelled legal, and legal is the undoing of God's law. When evoking the maxim of equity, all agreements and contracts must be deemed by all parties to be fair, just, right and proper. I must meet I, mine must meet mine. You will normally find that it's going to be an agreement that we have. We always have agreements. Oh, you've got a phone contract? No. I haven't seen your signature. We must have two signatures on the contract, otherwise it's an agreement. Simple as that. That's how man suffered a wrong at law. It's called a tort. We have suffered torts at law through tacit agreement or tacit acquiescence to these things. A contract is only legally binding when it contains two wetting signatures of both parties notarized and witnessed appropriately. A contract is only an agreement with an added legal obligation. So if you are legally obliged, then you have a contract. Your person is legally obliged. Any document not containing two signatures in the correct format is not a construct and can be referred to as simply an initial agreement, and in most cases can be regarded as non-legally binding. Guidance in lawful matters, the inner stand of the situation, to understand. To be arrested by a policeman, they ask you at the end of their spiel, do you understand? Because to acquiesce or to say yes to that, you are then standing under. We stand under no man. That's when they bestow their wishes and the rights upon you. And you have acquiesced to it by saying, yes, I stand under you, sir. I'm a juvenile delinquent. Know who you really are. Be of honourable intent. Know which jurisdiction of the law you are in, or are being asked to operate in. Be confident of your standing. Know the correct language to use and the real definition of the legalese words you are using to keep simple. Be polite, conduct yourself confidently and professionally without vexation or malintent. Be prepared when an offer of contract is made to you. Either respectfully decline the offer or accept it conditionally, and then state your terms and conditions and get the other party to sign that they accept or agree your terms, include a schedule in your agreements. So to conditionally accept is to say, okay, you're claiming I owe you £100. I just ask you to prove where and when it was, or how I can settle this in accordance with the bills of exchange and the promises to pay since 1933, or whatever spicy other questions you could put in there. Or you respectfully decline because if they're trying to sell you windows, which they more than likely are, these corporations, we have windows already, just decline. Slave talk, what's your name? If you admit to having a name instantly, you're into legalese talk. We have a calling, we are all called in at home time, come and get an little buggy late. A person, a fiction, corporate entity bought and sold as chattel under maritime law, laws of the sea, in the mercantile corporate domain, a dead entity, a dead fiction. Human, not man, woman, only the colour of man. A citizen is an oath-swearing member of a society, the law society, who submits themselves to the rule of conduct under government. So if you work for that department, or you are tied into them fiscally, or contracted with them, or have an agreement with them, that's you. All those laws, the acts, the statutes, the legislative force of law, or the rule of law, that they keep using that phrase. What is the rule of law? Is it a rule or is it a law? Sounds like an oxymoron to me. A member of the public. One of the persons constituting a group within a state that is being a fixed territory where people are bound by the laws and organised by government and laws. The government. The government have hold over commerce only. They're a commercial business. They are there to secure our businesses, the taxes thereof, and the borders. Man created government, and then the government created persons. It is then those rules that they have imposed upon a person. And man acquiesces to being a person because that's what we're indoctrinated to believe through the schooling system. We are all schooled, we're not educated. This is how they're tricking us with these simple words, through the trickery at school and through what's going on through there. The tenant, that which has no estate or title but only rented possession without right, and wrongfully stands in no privity to the landlord, and is not entitled to notice to quit, and is not to bear licence to when the landlord owes merely duty, not wantonly or wilfully to injure him or her. A tenant has more right than a mortgagee, but we can talk about that in a little while. Possession. Possession is 9/10 of the law. We only have possessory rights here. We can't own anything because we can't take it with us. To have a legal title to any of this was where we're going wrong, because that ties you into the person. We're not to legally own anything but benefit from everything. We are born onto the land for remedy and the benefit of our person being the birth certificate. In that trust situation that it's in, we set straight the quasi-trust relationship and go forth therein. Know your words. The common meanings, or the legalese. The common meanings are what I would call the etymological root of each word. They know what they are, that's why they use them against us, they batter us with them. Person is a persona, it's an actor. A name, we've said that, we have a calling, the Mr. or the Mrs. or the Mr. that they don that title to you. Before we're 7 years old, we are all actually masters of our domain, but we're not given a chance to that because it's taken from us. We're unbeknownst. Must, may, summons, invocation. Must or may. What is a summons? A summons is an invitation. A child, children, offspring. Offspring is the word for man. Child and children is the word for legalese. A child is the property of corporation. To understand, we've talked about that, is to stand under. We stand under nobody. We are all equal. There's nobody in front, there's nobody behind. We're all side by side. We don't stand under, we comprehend, we understand. Lawful and legal, are they the same? So we understand that. Legal is for persons, lawful is for the man. That's why we sought lawful remedy, restitution, or rejuvenation, whatever you're going for. Offender or criminal, are they the same things? Can you have a criminal offence? That's the difference also between a prison and a jail. You go to different places when you're a criminal or an offender. They're different jurisdictions of the law. Notices, licences, bills of exchange, license. There's no sense in a lie, but you require them to do the C's of commerce. We acquiesce to those also. They are all commercial instruments to be implemented for benefit use only. Request, offer, bond, cash and fraud. A request, as we said, is a summons. An offer, we can be declined. If I come into these situations, I will say to them, you know, are you ordering me or are you requesting me? Because one's going to cost you, and that's what that is there. The bond is the birth certificate. We have to know how to implement that instrument. Cash is a belief system, like any religion. You have to believe that it's real and keep on getting out of bed each morning and fetching it. It's just a promise to pay, which in turn is fraud. It says creditor. Man is the creditor to their debtor, which is the person. It is your person that has the bank account. You have to take your birth certificate, your driving licence and these things, your identification they call it, to open these things. I, creditor Andrew, credit my debtor through that account as and when required. Equity and torts, fees and bills and settlements. Equity is for the man. Tort is at law. If you suffer the tort, you can put it right through the equity. You can claim your fees. You can give them a bill. They seem to not ever give us a bill. We have these gyro credit slips. You don't see another bill. Ask them for a bill in accordance with the bills of exchange. That's how you see your settlement. Jurisdictions on the passports or a port pass. Again, it's for chapel. It's corporate entity. It's asking the Queen for permission to move her cargo, although she's there illegitimately anyway, renting one of the 3 crowns. So there's weight of immunity for that, as diplomatically as we are as emissaries under the covenant and not of the government. I'm going to talk more about the covenant in a little while, because that's how you dispel them. Sweat equity, or what we would know of money, offer of commerce, bills of exchange, negotiable instruments. We're all negotiating every day between trade and commerce. Is trade and commerce the same? Trade is private. Trade is what we do, trade, levy and barter. Nothing to do with commerce, nothing to do with taxation, nothing to do with the person. Free speech. How are you called? Your Christian calling. Mum and dad, man and woman. The legalese words is obviously mother and father. That's what they do. Boy and girl, they say male and female. The word is masculine and feminine. They are offspring, they are fruit of our loins, with our vested interests. Are you a free man or a free woman? We are all free born, we have free will, but we're not free of each other. We have a duty and an obligation, spiritually, mindfully, soulfully, to see that each other is well and fair and healthy and wealthy. Beneficiary of my estate. My estate was created when my mum informed the state, or grasped me up to the state, and created a fictitious entity, a business, a sole body corporate, for which they then floated on the stock exchange in weight of my gold, £7.3 solid gold, troy ounces of me is floating out there until I claim it back shortly.
Do we know it's gold?
Yes. It's anything of intrinsic value really, unless you want to do it in bricks or coffee beans. The beneficiary of my estate, as the settlor, grantor, creator that we all are, not I, we, I am you, you are I, we all benefit from being born. The land, the air, the water, which is the law. It's all here for life's sustenance. The person was created by the banking cabal for those to benefit from. They have a misconstrued trust relationship going there. We have many relationships within any given trust. And the public at law level rule is, because you're in a trust, you don't have to know you're in a trust. And that's what they've done here. That's how they've misconstrued the relationships. They've put you down as the trustee of all of this, which is the legal title holder, which must pay all the dues, fines, levies, forfeitures that comes to that estate. A dweller of the land. You hear this man on the land, dweller on the land, I'm on the land. We are of the land. The plants that we eat are of the land. They come and go. The water is of the land. On is incorrect. We are dwellers, we are dwelt within. Executor of the shared estate. I am the sole beneficiary of my family estate. I create, I settle, I execute as the executor or the executor. Who comes in and out the gate? The corporate world has gatekeepers that are keeping us from what's rightfully ours through the misconstrued language. Oath of allegiance, pledge, according and capacity. What is our capacity? It tells me in my book that in man's house resides many mansions, and in those mansions are our capacities. Some of us are dads, some of us are mums. We have a work capacity, public, private, we go shopping, all in different capacities. Intermeddlers, third party, bailiffs, agents. They are all there in the jurisdiction of the water also. They're all coming for your person. Almost like we live in a garage or a lockup or a container. Because that's what they should be coming for ultimately, for business. Request requirement to perform a summons. If you are requested, as we said earlier, you can respectfully decline. If you think there's going to be a benefit for you, or there's a requirement for you, you've been ordered, well then there must be a just and fair benefit for me to give that performance. There must be an exchange. In both ways, there must always be just and fair exchange for any given performance. Under duress of indemnity, who's indemnified here? How do you sign under duress if you have to? How do you make it known that you are here under duress? You can put dots before your signature, your sign of nature. 3 before, 3 after. There's nothing before, nothing thereafter. You can put it in your own box, in the 4-corner rule. The 4-corner rule sort of stands to down our documents. You can sign your VC.
What's the 45 degree?
The 45 degrees as you drew your sword. Your pen's marking
Yes,
on
I
the
mean,
sword.
like-
So if you just spin your paper around and just put your autograph in it that way around as you drew your sword. That's how you do it, through your thumbprint.
Is that how you would sign the duress then, for example?
Yes.
You could tell them, you could see it out loud, you could write it.
Yes.
If you're using your normal autograph, it's not usually under duress, is it?
It's only when you're signing the
So you have
nature.
to
If you have to
sign
give
it.
your signature and you're under duress, you do it that way.
Signing without liability, he's on a different thing,
Yeah.
similar. Under duress, you don't consent.
The Chancery and Casuistry. The Chancery, or the King's Court, as King, that's what we are. We are the kings of the court. As King, the questions. If you don't ask the questions, you're going to get walked over. That's our court. We hold the court. We bring our court to that building. We are the court. We bring our suit in our case and present it rightfully, as and when required. Again, there must be a just and fair exchange. There's a fee schedule with it. Once they know who you are, they won't have you in anyway. Honour and clean hands. Honour is what it is. It's been that of good standing, it's been that of good nature, goodwill and good intent. That will automatically endow you with clean hands. You have a clean heart, you can go into it in the equitable terms. Militant toward combatant. It is all militant combatancy. You gain that militant combatancy usually through voting. You are given it initially through the wardship when you are docked in that militant institute that we would know as a hospital. You are in a ward, you are birthed thereafter. Militant combatant, that's where the civil justice system comes from. You are either a civilian or you are a militant combatant. They don't want you absconding from either of those because they can charge both of them. Legal instruments, documents, conveyance, spelt incorrectly. A conveyance, what is a conveyance? A mode of transport, it's a car, it's a lorry. A conveyance is also a person, it's a mode of conveyance. You have to know how to implement that instrument. It's a very important document, we've all got one, and it's absolutely endless value to it, although the currency has no intrinsic value.
Birth certificate.
Glossa, capitalisation of the letters. The uppercase letters, or the glossatory, or written by a glossator, that's what's mixing up the water law with the laws of the land. That's where we're getting the fraud and the misconceptions of what is lawful and what is legal. We're taught to put capitals in our name and start the sentences with capitals and all this sorts of stuff. We are schooled incorrectly. Everything must be lowercase from the man. Everything is lowercase, as it is in the Oxford Comprehensive, which is what they carry in the court along with the King James. To trust and trust, put into trust. What do you put into trust? I can put this antique table into trust. It's there as a res, it's there to see. It may have some intrinsic value, but most of the point is tangible, you can see it. But most of the point than that in trust, we can also put things intangible, that which can't be seen, that which can't be heard. I always use the same, like Mr. Dyson, when he invented his Hoover in his mind, that thought, that intellectual property as a res went into trust, a copy hold, so nobody can take his ideas so he can clean up on the realm. That's what that is, you can put into trust, tangible and intangible as a res. Pacts, agreements and contracts. A pact is what we could make today, singularly. We could make an agreement, but a contract can carry, like I said, a legal obligation. As men and women, we have no legal obligation because we're not in the commercial realm today. We can agree, we can make a pact, and because there's more than 3 of us, we can even today have a convention. That's what the real word is, a convention. A convention is an agreement, and a contract is just an agreement with an added legal obligation to which we are not obliged. And that's a major question in this realm, am I obliged? Ask me a question, am I obliged to answer you? No, I don't think so. Convoy, construct, convey, the word con, the prefix alone. The consequences, the sequences after the con. It's how they con us, through the words. We should look at the prefixes, look at the suffixes, look how they construct what they're doing to us. It's all their word against ours. And once we can clearly see their words and what they mean, we can turn it back around on them in a lawful manner under the covenant. That's what you strip the government with. Trustor, grantor, settlor. That's some of the many positions that we can behold within our trust. Our person is a trust situation, it's a trust relationship. Given any time, we can be any of these capacities, and you have to know what you are at any given time. We are all trustors, we are all grantors, settlors, executors, all these things. It just depends what we're doing on the day. And now we have a poem. Can you all see that? Read it for yourselves. No one owns the water, no one owns the land, no one owns the oceans, no one owns the sands. These are given by our mother, Mother Earth. That always reminds me of mother and father, fatherland and Zion, and these things that are spaketh of. The fatherland is that of patriots. and we're patriotic, yeah, get the King James flag out, yeah. No. The planet provides for free, only by the hands of the greedy does the earth require a fee. That's what we advocate, to be fee simple, almost stupid simple. It can't be bent, it can't be negated against, it can't be anything other than what it is, fee simple. We are the land tenure. Our land has been held at the moment in trust. It used to be, in historic times, in ancient laws, by what was known as a praetor. And a praetor is a member of the cloth, a minister, or an appointed army man. And they would hold our land for us until we have done our militant, combatant service. Only this day and age, they're not releasing us from our militant combatancy. They are holding us within through our own stupidity and acquiescence as persons, paying until they release us. Is it 67 now that we can retire from this? 67 with a 35-year debt grip around your neck known as a mortgage. Is that living, or is that surviving? It's surviving, I know, and I'm through these little workshops. We need to get us thriving. We need to be all thriving together. And once we become thriving in the way that we are in a private manner, in equitable realm, discharging things with the pen and not giving them our sweat equity, that's how we take the system down, collectively. We are to know this individual knowledge so that when we can come together, shoulder to shoulder, nobody above another, nobody behind anybody in the shadows, all as one. That's how we beat these. I've done it single-handedly in certain situations and certain, shall we say, corporations. So I know I'm on the money, and it all comes down to religion. It all comes down to Christianity against the Jews, against the Muslims, against the whole world derived from the Catholics. Every religious book is written by the Catholics, the Quran, every Bible, everything. It is them that are the gatekeepers for the banks. The banks held us in as collateral, as chattel through the birthing system, the bonded number on there, and they expect us to pay back everything with interests to their ways, and that's what the person in corporate world is. We need to separate that back, know how to trade, and keep commerce separate, and only do commerce when it benefits you as the man through your person. Is there any questions we'd like to go through any of these? I'll start at the first one.
Verbal and contracts. So can a verbal contract, does that stand, or does it have to always be on paper or written, signed paper by two people?
Contract is always clarified. You'd have to have wetting signatures. If you have anything verbally, you would have an agreement.
Like a mobile phone contract you said earlier, you said that, you explained that, so you could...
If me and you made an agreement today that I'll meet you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock and we'll go and do some work together, if you didn't trust me, we could draw up a contract and you'd get me to sign it and you could sign it, and we'd say that there may be fine or forfeiture if I was late or if you was late, because we didn't quite have the trust within that said agreement or the pact, man to man. A contract is for commerce.
So that comes legally, would that ever stand a verbal contract?
Legally?
Yeah.
No.
Are you a man of your word?
Your word is your bond.
Yeah.
It's not
So it depends how good your word is as to whether your verbal contract could stand or not. If you can stand on your word.
Yeah.
So if you sign, it's legal. If you speak, it's law. Done. You get it that way. If you're signing for anything, you're creating a bond, and it's legal. If you speak, then you're in a different jurisdiction and in law.
You wouldn't seek legal redress for something that's unlawful.
Yeah. So anytime a signature is applied, they don't trust you, and it will be, illegal.
Yeah.
Not contract, because it's a two.
Is there anything anybody else wants to know? Any questions? Anybody stuck?
You mentioned about contravent, under that admiralty law.
Convention.
Yeah. And like, you said something when you went down there about the admiralty law, and you mentioned contrivances or something.
Okay. So, If you ever get dragged into court, initially they're pulling your person to court through maritime law. If you're there through maritime law, you are seeking remedy. If you can't seek remedy at maritime law, if there's discrepancies and you can prove your standing, we've had it. There's people in the room here that's had it. They'll leg it. The judge will get up and leg it. And when they come back in, they'll flip the jurisdiction on you. That's when they've gone to admiralty law then. And you're not seeking remedy anymore. They haven't told you this. The language has changed. You know?
Colour, like,
It's the colour of man, that's what it is.
So I could write a court is like it's a civil participation venue. They already have the venue jurisdiction. They already have claimed under the later things we'll give you, paper proclamations, the body. So there's the only three that we see jurisdictions they require for the full authority over that, and you would then be required to confirm the name. And Andy said the name starts with a capital letter. We've looked into all of the, we've worked together for a while, as some of you know, and we've looked into the name is a capital letter at the beginning. That's a mountain of things. So they're like boats, dry docked on land, aren't they? Pirates.
So maritime, you're looking for remedy. Admiralty law, you're looking for maintenance and cure. If they ever run off on you and never come back, you are looking, I seek maintenance and cure for on the record. You make your state, you have to let it be known, you have to let yourself be known, be upstanding. Remedy and cure.
What was that when you mentioned maritime law? What was the one you just mentioned?
That's remedy. You're seeking remedy.
Yeah, and what, but after that you said something.
Admiralty, that's maintenance and cure.
No, I'm lost. And you're saying maritime law and admiralty law are different?
Yes. They carry different rules. That's why they're different names.
Generally see people, we termify them are, but Admiralty Maritime, arrested,
Then they
boats,
come back
maritime, the
if
boats.
they come back the third time, it's the mercantile.
Now I'm
That's
confused.
when you deal with them in equity.
No, now I'm totally confused. Is anyone else totally confused? I don't understand the difference between maritime law and admiralty law. I thought it was roughly the same thing. You've got admiralty law written up there, you don't have maritime law written up there. You're talking about maritime law and admiralty
That's what this
law.
lad just asked me about.
And I'm
maritime law.
not getting clarity. I'm not getting clarity. with
They're
the
bodies
difference.
of law, aren't they? They're bodies of law.
Yeah, I know
For
that,
the
but
seas.
you're saying,
What is
hang
court?
on, I'm asking him.
Oh, got it.
And
Yeah.
I'm
We're
getting-
presenting
I'm
it together, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm getting a different response from you and a different response from you. So you're saying maritime law, you seek remedy.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And admiralty law, what
Yes.
do you do?
What do you do? I've just told you twice. Did you
Yeah,
write
but
it
I've
down?
missed it because I was confused.
Because you're arguing with this man.
I'm trying not to listen, I'm trying to get an answer from you. Admiralty law, maritime law, seek remedy. Admiralty law, what's the crunch?
Maintenance and cure.
Maintenance and cure.
Maintenance and cure going
Thank you.
forth. After that, you're into the equitable realm. You are live, you are born again, you are there as man, not to be rebutted.
And you're saying if they try a third time, you're now in mercantile situation where you're seeking equity.
You are in equitable realm, you are under the covenant because your wishes come true. You asked 3 times and you will come true.
Right, I see.
First time's been misconstrued, second time's a mistake, third time's definite. They know.
They know.
Of course they know, you get paid to do it every day.
Times and they still.
That's their rule of law. The rule of law, is it a rule or a law? A rule is an act or a statute, a lot of members of parliament make these acts and statutes that a person shall not drive without in accordance with a licence. Well, what is a person? It's an actor. It's not a man. So it's a rule. It's a rule for business. If you work at that business like you work in McDonald's, you've got to live by their rules. That's their rules for their company. I don't work for their company, nor am I affiliated with them.
So how do you, if you're in front of a judge, you want to get yourself to equity law as soon as possible, is that correct?
Well, it depends upon why you're there, doesn't it?
Okay, so what's equity? So if
If I found myself in front of a judge, it'd be very rare because my paperwork precedes me. They'll deal with you privately. You dealt with privately out of court. Your paperwork and correspondence. If your case is watertight, why would you go to court? Why would you need adjudicating? Your facts are there.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you're saying, are you suggesting that if your paperwork is watertight, then you are in equity law?
No, I'm not suggesting that at all.
Okay.
I'm suggesting if your paperwork is correct and tight, you wouldn't need to appear unless you wanted to.
Yes.
Unless
Yes.
there was an order for you to do so, well then you would be recompensed accordingly also.
Yes, yes.
Or subpoena in America, they call it, don't they? You know,
They could subpoena you, which is an order, but you give them your just and fair fee schedule. You were there for commerce. They don't want you in the commercial realm. I can enact that body corporate, no problem. There's the bill.
So it'd be a last case scenario to appear in court?
Yes. To make a ghostly appearance, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. If you want to appear in court, they know there's a man in court. They're not messing about with persons today. What do they don't want you in there uncovering their rule of law? They're fraudulent, fictional entities, business corporate, administrative hearings. They have no law, they have no jurisdiction, they have no bearing, they have no legs or standing in court as soon as a man walks in. And they damn well know it. Yes, Mike.
Just from a note, so misconstrue, mistake, and what was the third one?
Goodness knows.
The American
They're all misconstrued, mislaid, mistake, yeah.
constructed statutory trust in Andy, because the public statutory, it might have been that bit where you're on about the trustee bit where you're legally responsible, driving licence, passports, birth certificate.
Legal obligations to the person. We only have obligation to each other, not to harm or cause loss or injure or let my dog piss on your grass or anything of the sort. That's the law. That's the covenants, the commandments and the statutes therein for man, not for persons.
Would you just go through your concept of what God's covenant is? What are
God's covenant. What is God? God is an entity that's been written in a book. I am godly. It says in the book of faith of this landmass that I am created in the reflection of. Go ye and be perfect. I'm here, the perfect reflection of the Creator. That's what I said when I went to Liverpool and spoke to the man of the Vatican. I'm in the reflection of the man you have sworn your oath to. Like any judge has sworn their oath to. How many masters do they have? They have the one. The same that I'm under the covenant of. It says the same in every Bible. I've checked today before I come. It says the same in the Quran. We are all of the Creator. Go ye and be perfect and multiply. We are made in perfect resonance and reflection of. So to me that tells me that God is within. He's not out there in the clouds or in heaven, as above so below. We are all godly. We are all goodly. That's what it is. You're either good or you're bad. If you're bad, you're not godly. You haven't got godliness within you. To walk the path of Jesus, they say. Not to go to gospels and synagogues and churches and these places of religion. To idolate and to worship another ship. You see, because they are all under the legal tabernacle as well, not under the one of the Creator. So under the tabernacle of the Creator and the ordinances thereof, the 10 Commandments and His statutes are very easy to know. That is the law of this land.
So under that perspective, we're talking about universal law, we're talking about the laws of physics, nature, attraction, being what is set down.
It's a consciousness,
in
yes.
physicality and in consciousness.
It's manifestation.
And then natural law is an attempt to write down in simple language, the basic conduct of man.
Of principles.
Yeah, and then common law is a way of dealing with property, rights.
We are all property, chattel.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
then
they've done that
law
for.
is essentially an overlay.
We just need to know how to enact in the public and how to enact in the private, and how to stay out of either.
So that's water jurisdiction, common law is land
Every
jurisdiction.
mister, your surname is capitalised and it's always in the water. It's never on
Canon
land.
law and ecclesiastical law.
It isn't our name, it's theirs, it's their copyrighted. That's why they have copyrighted it. We can just utilise it as a conveyance. It's a mode of transport to get to where you want to go in life.
So as far as I understand, the common law is the land jurisdiction rights. As you say, admiralty law and maritime law are dealing with contracts and
Civils and stuff,
and the canon
partnerships.
law and ecclesiastical law is air jurisdiction, which is simply proclamations from a group of people,
From the church,
this is the way it is.
from the consul, which we now know as council.
Until we prove that to be
Yes.
incorrect.
So the consulates, the early consulates that made up the jurisdiction that we're in today, was made of their own beliefs on what principalities are. It was their own jurisprudence of law, their own language. That's where this derives from.
So in a way, it's just an opinion. Until a better
That's what
opinion comes
jurisprudence
along.
is.
It's just an opinion.
It's an opinion of man.
Yeah.
So an opinion of one man has the rule of law over every person of this day. If you think you're a person, that's right. That's what jurisprudence is.
Thank you.
Are you saying that are you saying that canon law is now just the council, so the local council is operating
Now,
under
the
canon?
canon ecclesiasticals is their highest law, but their jurisconsults got to their language and derived and come up with those things, canons and ecclesiasticals. They took it from the Ecclesiastes that are of the book they wrote. It's all the same.
Yeah, but I heard a minute ago that you said canon law are now just councils, like local councils?
They are the councils, yes, not just, they are. The
So-
council, the churches, the council are under the church. The council
diocese.
houses are church houses. It's all owned by the empire. The
But-
property rights and tags and the land tenure all owned by the Vatican.
Okay, so the local councils work for the Vatican?
We all do. We all
Okay, do the local councils operate under canon law?
They operate under the civil laws, don't they, for persons?
I wanted to just say something about Admiralty Maritime. Let me stand up so you can see me. Then I want to hand a birth certificate around of my person so you can look at some of the capitalisations. So I'll do that later. But if you think before, when you learn the continuum of history, this isn't an easy question to answer when you are giving questions like that. We are privy to history continuum going back from 3000, 6000 BC. We've done this over time and not overnight, and we've got it all the way up. We can go Jesus, and we can go 100 to 900, and Andy and I can go to the Romans and the battles and the lineages. You and I and Andy can't do this on our own, but there is with respect to what you said earlier, Admiralty and Maritime. If you think before the period of Jesus, there was Phoenicians and there was a whole world you see on the documentaries, not on the mainstream, but on when you do your research. There was a civilization and major empires around, and they had boats, they had trade, and there was none of this bonded blood, cannibalized, all of this. Before Jesus, antiquities and pre-Christian gnosis, we found the lineage and the blood and the families and everything. We're not 100%, but we're better than we was. So they had boats and they did stuff. And there wasn't the London Temple, Roman, BAR and all of these suppositions and wars and adjudicator acts, and we can go to the battles and Anglo, Normandy, all the way up to, driving out the Romans with Lado and his untimely death, which was one of the, I forget now, but you'll get me in a bit. We was on about it the other day, weren't we? Who kicked the Romans' ass? What was his name?
Arthur, apparently.
It's not Arthur, before that, but
When the Romans first landed, they came twice.
it's untimely death. I was
and,
talking about the two Arthurs.
The first time they turned up,
One minute,
they were escorted.
William and
William the Conqueror
1066
came
was talking, William the Conqueror in his untimely
I'm
death.
talking about 43 AD.
So there's a long period, all right, and there's a pre-period before Christianity, and we didn't have Admiralty, but we had Maritime, and there's been a supposition. So your question is quite difficult to answer, but it can be answered through further long
the laws of the
It's not so
Phoenicians.
simple, but you need the timeline, the history and the family, and then we can bring it in, and you'll see when it was swapped, so a bit like this. When the churches, as Andy can explain, used to deal with this, and there was a book, wasn't there, and we had that managed, and then this has come in. So if anyone wants to see this, take a note, pass it around. I would like it back, hold it up to the light, and you'll see the language, the capitalisation, the informant and so forth. That's my person's birth certificate, not me. I carry that everywhere, and it's used for liability. Anybody wants to lay claim on me, I have many documents
Do you
here.
mean this is the real birth certificate?
It's one of them, there's two, isn't there? But that's the one you end up with when you ask for a copy, you get that.
That's the debtor. It's a death legal notice, that's what that is.
That's your
what's
bond.
written like that on your
So
tombstone.
my child was born at home in Bath. The two, because we wanted to have on his own. So we only wanted a little help. One nurse came, but then another came when we only requested a little bit of help. Was that so that they could have the two witnesses on their piece of paper? So I didn't know this back then, it was only like 16 months ago, but I let it slip through my hands. Could I have kept hold of that original live birth certificate?
Yes, you can still get them anyway.
Did you go to the registry office?
No, I didn't know anything back then. I knew it was wrong to register a child, but what I mean is, could I have said to the nurses, I'll be keeping that, thank you.
If you wanted to.
They might have tried to coerce you into giving it to them.
Yeah.
If they get paid for this, apparently.
Because that's the original certificate, isn't it? So is there any way, I know it's like an individual thing, but is there a way in future that I could tell the other kids how to, if that ever arises, for them to keep hold of that certificate?
Yes, but ultimately it won't be required.
Right. So it's not that important?
No.
Can we go for a smoke? Is that okay?
Yeah, you hope so. Yeah, because once we have equitable relief and remedy, you won't need your person. That's their system, not your one, you know.
Because then everything only has value if we think it's value.
Well, that's right, because money has no value.
That's what I was asking you about the gold thing. Is it, because I didn't really believe it was anything of such.
Gold has always, through the history and time of mankind, had an intrinsic value. It's always been traded, loaned and bartered. It used to be so heavy, you know, a cowboy coming to town on his horse and big old lump of gold, it's that heavy, and for safekeeping, he wouldn't put it in the bank. And then he could go into the saloon and have a few sherbets and a woman, and they'd bring it, the saloon would bring the receipt to the bank and get their gold before he comes and gets it back, and that's how it worked. They give him the receipt. You know, the allodial title, the deed.
It's the only way for transactions.
Yeah, that's how it went, mate. But then they removed the gold from it then and just made it a promise to pay. So we keep promising every day. That's why we have to keep getting on enslaving ourselves every day, habitually, for the debt. So, if I had £2 today, and I lent Steve one, and this man here one, and I wanted 150 back off them, how are we going to get me the 50? I haven't given them yet. It's not in circulation yet. I've only put £2 out. So they have to come to me and borrow some more to give it back to him, and that's how it starts.
Yeah,
£50, £2, £3, £4. It has to. That's how you have to pay it back. You've got no choice. That's once you were hooked in like that.
Are we still at war? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay then. Print more.
It's like if you want the shiny things, then you have to go down this line, don't you? If you want a house, car,
Turn yourself
any
up
crap,
to one.
you have to do it, don't you?
No, you're not supposed to do anything. It's a choice. Everything's choice.
Yeah, if you want the.
If you want to, you can do anything you want to.
If you don't, you
If you
can.
want to build your own spaceship and fly to the moon, you can do that. You can do whatever you want.
Everything you want, can't you?
If you want to enslave yourself and then debt yourself and do that to yourself, you can do exactly what you want. That's exactly what the system wants. It's working a treat.
How much sooner would you have all that if they weren't taking it off you at every corner? You know, lose that tax, and you've got a chance, haven't you?
Not the police officer.
Well, the tax is there for a purpose. It's meant to keep you there.
How do you kind of live and all of that? Even to rent a house, you need a credit report. So it's not being homeless and not being able to
That's
live.
right, yeah.
How do you get around that?
away from it, but still want to be part of it, or is that?
Yeah, the idea is not to want to be a part of it. You take yourself away from it altogether if you can, and it does take a strong legal family and friends around us, you know, it does take, you know, a good lot of work of a lot of people, because that's why we can't do it individually. Of course. I'm here, I'm not in jail,
Needs and wants. Needs and wants.
you know.
I like the
But
beats,
so
they
even some of the
control
basic
everything.
things need require some form of a background from the system, you know.
But that's the difference, you know, the wants goes up in levels, doesn't it? But the level at which you need is completely different.
It's hard to imagine anything different. it's
Well,
quite
that's because we've been
overwhelming to
indoctrinated to
imagine.
think of anything else. I've spent thousands of pounds and hundreds of hours with a lot of grown-up men and women schooling us into repetitive nonsense to make sure that we're definitely retaining the information that they've swept our minds with. Of course it's a lot to believe, of course they've dealt us a pack of cards that are 180 to what we think they are.
We feel like
They're using the same words, that's why it's so difficult to believe. One word hasn't got one meaning. One word can have many meanings. It depends how you're using it, in what narrative, and how you've constructed it. That's where the fraud is, within ourselves as well. Because we haven't took the time in ourselves, the goodness, to go and have a look what it really means before we write it or say it ourselves. Like, when's the last time you looked in the dictionary? You know, I went to bed for 3 years with a dictionary and Bible.
You got a lot of paper cuts, he did. I was always dabbing him. I didn't know him though, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andy. Go on, there's a question.
Hi, Mike.
So if you don't, if your mother doesn't inform on you, or your mum doesn't inform on you and sign the birth certificate, but how do they set up a credit line? Can they still do that, or?
Well, that's it, you see, they must be very well off and have a trust to start with. If they have a trust to start with, they're born into it or whatever, and they know the language, they know what's what of the realm, then yes. But either way, you can utilise your person. It's not a bad thing. People of the common law courts, oh no, or sign to this or register it to that. What?
And you're not punished for not registering.
They do threaten to punish you, don't they? But of course,
Can they do the enforcement?
The fine is £4 apparently.
No.
Come on. Is there a law? Can you find a law anywhere that says you must register? A law,
Just the fact
you know.
they say you must, capital
Yeah,
M.
you
Yeah,
just
no,
Yeah, but
I-
again, when I said on the very beginning of the video today, who is you? You must. I'm not you. You are you. I am I. Who are you calling you? My name isn't you.
What would I call you?
Andy.
And you're a man.
So there's no acts and statutes or legislation on this land that says Andy must anything. And I'm not called you. My nan called me Andy. And unless it says specifically Andy in the legislative rule, it obviously doesn't count to me. It's a person. A person shall not spit on the floor without an accordance with using the right toothpaste. What? What's a person? What's the word shall? A person shall not drive without a licence. I could go to court and say, lovely, I shall go and get one, because it's a forward tense word, it isn't in the now. I shall go and put that right, thank you for noticing me. Is there anything else today? As you can see, I'm expensive. I shall put it right. I shall do that. A person shall not do anything according to their rules. And they always use that word because it's not in the now, they know that. Man can only enact in the now. We haven't got yesterday and we haven't got tomorrow. It's a free bar tomorrow, every day of the week. It's always a free bar tomorrow.
Tomorrow never comes.
That's because man enacts in the now. Person shall not do anything going forward because they'll find and forfeit your arse. It's just those words, it's the trickery of the language. That's what's going on here. And once you start looking into these things, shall and person and mother and informant, and these little words, when we look in the dictionary, see what the other synonyms are to them. You get to write yourself a story on 5 words.
How would you exercise your rights to travel if your children wasn't registered? How would you obtain a passport to leave the country for them?
Well, that's what I'm going to go and do in about 2 weeks' time. So ask me then, and I'll put you right. I haven't done it myself, I'm about to. So I've done a lot of other things, just not the final step.
That'd be a good thing.
Was that about passports? You can obtain, I think
You
people
can
can't
obtain them,
passports
but you
without
can have immunity from all that.
The information is out there.
Yeah.
Embassies.
But I don't advocate all that stuff. That's what I'm just waiting to do what I'm doing. Because it takes away all that side of it.
You get
Just
to
brings you
have
back to
evidence of life, and you know, you
Yeah.
go to your doctor, get your doctor to write. You can. There's various documents that you know that they will accept. It doesn't necessarily have to be
A birth certificate.
birth
Would you still get trapped under the NHS? You might be registered.
All these things that we enjoy under this system,
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
we?
but would you want to?
Well, if your baby got sick, you would want a doctor to remember house check.
That's again, that's a part of the schooling and indoctrination.
If you're in a car accident, for instance, and you go into the hospital unconscious, they register you as a John Doe.
Yeah.
So knowing that, you go in and say, I don't have a name, but you can register me under a John Doe as if I'm unconscious and treat me like that.
Like in America when they've got no insurance or
Yeah.
Obamacare,
That's
they
why
still
we have
go
the
and
national insurance, that's why that bond is there, the national insurance.
duty of care. And you're being an illegal alien.
Yeah.
Acts as an exemption number.
They've taken an oath, haven't they, the doctors?
Therefore, you're exceptionally
But
good,
wait.
that's what's unique to you.
Yeah.
Andy says at the beginning, if you wasn't going to register, you'd more than likely be privy to the civics and the mechanics behind it, and you may have a trust already set up. So it's not, we're looking at the common everyday man now not doing it, but the others that have been doing it have had an
Oh,
easier pathway because they are...
Down the bottom.
They are privy to that, luxury, Oxford, Eton, education. We get indoctrination, and we are usurped, subrogated, subjugated. So we have to
It
look at
clearly
it.
states on the bottom of every one that it's not you, and evidence, it's not evidence of identity. So
There's no biometrics on that at all. So yeah, is that a warning saying at the bottom in bold, certificate is not evidence of identity, so the bearer and the holder in due course of a certificate, like the V5, like the passport, like the driving licence. So I could give that Andy, and Andy could go and use that, and I could use his. Nobody would be the wiser. I could get a letter from him and say, and we could go out and we could commit mass fraud with these. But that's telling you, that's a disclaimer, what we would argue, yeah. It's a warning, so when you go and claim this, as the biblical chapters say, do not take the property of the Father's name in vain. There's a loose thread, a key there. Why would it be watermarked? That's currency, what you've seen, General Register Office, that's the bondsman. We are the witnesses, ambassadors and bondsmen of Christ in a fashion. And this is the second of the certificates, isn't it, which they give you to be going on the ship. And now we're on the citizenship.
So would you say, in a way, it is warning you, say, because it says don't use it
It's
as
a disclaimer, it's
identification.
legal, isn't it? And
But we
what-
use it straight away for a passport, don't we?
The bank manager,
So-
anybody with a bank account that's in debt with one of them, you go back and say non-disclosure, no
If you have
information.
respect to persons, you do so as sin, and are convinced of the law as transgressors.
You want to take a break or something? A cigarette break, is that what we're going to do? What time is it?
Again, please.
Ye who have respect to persons, do so as sinners, and are convinced of the law as transgressors. The material law has no face in the presence of God realised.
Let he who be fooled be fooled.
That's what it is.
Deceived. Yeah, deceived. Yeah.
What's that Matt said? Let you be deceived, be deceived.
Yeah, what did Jesus say? Lest ye not be deceived.
Yeah.
Shut about now, dude.
Oh.
We are the consciousness. Jesus is a historical fucking figure. He was never real.
Yeah, so so when we say, for example, you're Christian, when it comes to BC and after Christ, would you say it's before and after?
What's this? The BC?
No, before and after the Christian names.
Ah, before christening and then after
Yeah,
death.
do you think it's anything to do with that?
Oh, BC. No, that's a time because it's a linear time measurement, so it's just the period of time to measure time. Just to say, before Jesus and the event, you see, the people can't be registered, only events can be registered. You register an event, you mark an event. A person and a man definitely can't be registered. Bring some for you, I was going to give you a little one. Hey, up, Andy. So yeah, that is an event that's registered, and I've never been registered. An event's registered, and that's what you get to say if you're the title of that fucking event. And they've taken the trust into their fucking We've got it wrapped up, mate. There's no way we're going down for fuck all next year. We've got an answer for everything.
Yeah, you have to have it. You go outside, yeah?
Still on. Is that on the? Is this on the?
Yeah, it's just privately recording. It's not live now.
What is it on the SP? Is it on the .com? That?
No, it's on YouTube, but it's not to everybody. It's just unlisted.
Yeah.
So it's just recorded. So I ain't got enough memory, so we'll leave it there. Let it record and download it and edit it and re-upload it. That's how we do it.
Yeah, man. But it's on. Will it be on the on your channel?
Yeah, when we've edited it, yeah, we're not having it now. If they wanted to hear, they could have come. If they haven't, then they'll have to wait. That's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah,
You want to see it, you'll be there at the event that isn't registered. And if you're not at the event, you have to wait for the minutes.
Is it somehow next week, isn't it? In the club?
Yeah, we were.
Is it the same places? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get the train down, mate.
It's the same one, but yeah.
Yeah, man.
Are you guys getting that? Yeah?
How long have you been studying this for?
Well, I don't know. I studied it about 2011 and sort of went over my head.
Yeah.
See, I disagree with this here. Common law is a body of law derived from judicial decisions. Of course, I would say that that's civil law, civic law. You know,
Yeah.
the decision. Rises as a question. That's civic law. Yeah, that's civic law, common law civic.
Universal law. Hermetic principles. Yeah?
What?
Universal law.
Oh, so I'm starting here, I was looking at that, I was looking at that. I disagree.
Well, this is what I was-
That's civic law, what is defined
Common
there.
law is civil law.
Civil law is the result of common law decisions. So it should
Ca-
say
ca-
common law civic.
Common law is a law that's common. The laws that have been accepted commonly over time.
But and then they're saying that that
But
doesn't.
they are still civil law. They are the laws of the land. They are the laws of the
So this,
governing bodies.
yeah, I understand that. Okay,
King's
okay,
law,
okay,
if you
yeah.
like, yeah?
So, well, I don't know about that. So equity law, that's where we want to get, right? That's where we want to have things heard. Is that right?
And that's where the balance is.
Yeah.
That's the justice, isn't it?
So equity law runs alongside common law with complement where common law is lacking. Yeah. So we want to
So
get.
common law isn't the answer. It helps you along in certain.
Yes.
As I understand it, I'm not an expert. These guys know better than me. The universal, that's laws you can't argue. Hermetic principles and laws of vibration, attraction, correspondence.
Okay, let me read it, because it's the first time I've read it, I'll just read it. Okay, it's the first time. In law and ethics, so we're saying in law and, no, that's not correct, no. Okay, universal law, in law and ethics, universal law or universal principle refers to the concept of legal legitimacy actions whereby those principles and rules for governing human beings conduct the most universal legal. Careful translation, philosophy, therefore be translation. It's like our culture.
No, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that because the universal law are the things that affect the science and nature.
Okay.
You know, the way you live, what you read yourself.
Philosophy asserting that certain rights are inherent in virtue of human nature, think about that, endowed by nature, traditionally right or
That's my word.
Okay, and that these can be understood. So this is all your interpretation stuff, or yours? Or
It's kind of built up on the presentation we did in Lavender.
so he says admiralty law, and then says admiralty law or maritime law, and then he's saying that those are separate. You know, so that needs to
They are separate.
Well-
One governs ships and that.
Okay, it should say admiralty law.
The admiralty law is like the Supreme Court over.
Okay, well, I would say you need to have a maritime law.
Admiralty law, who's the admiral?
Or.
The admiral's the man inside, yeah, in charge.
So, by or, you're saying these two equate to each other?
They equate to each other. It's the
But
same.
then he's saying they're different.
It's put the both laws of, no, they're not different. They are different, but the same. In the same way that natural law and common law are the same. Yeah?
No, it's not fitting in my head.
Not saying-
Canon law, 2 ends, canon law, 1 end.
Right, that's me.
Okay. I think it's 2 ends. Canon law is a set of ordinances and regulations
Canon law.
made by ecclesiastics. No, it's not.
Canon?
It's not. They're 2 different spellings. Canon that blows off and canon law are 2 different spellings. One's got 1 and one's got 2.
What the principles are saying.
You only understand how connected.
Regulations made by ecclesiastics, government, Christian organisations, governing the Catholic Church, or Catholic Church uses it to govern everything
He's just
else.
saying like canon law
The canon law, the Catholic
and
Church makes
he's
the
just
decision.
saying
No, canon law.
maritime. Maritime law. It's the same.
The law starts, the admiralty law starts.
You say you're looking for remedy, which
Yeah, I understand that.
Not the law of the English.
I'm always looking
No,
for
I
that remedy.
think,
The Phoenicians are the Venetians.
yeah, they became, yeah.
They still speak phonetically to this day.
Who do?
Phoenicians.
Phoenicians.
That's what it is, that's who these people are.
Ah,
They play these words and play with your head. That's why they do a fiction. Right? The only law stands anywhere.
yeah.
Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah, I understand all that, but we're trying to,
All the laws are built from it.
well, yeah. Right.
I can feel the frustration.
Oh, yeah, what I'm trying to
I can feel it.
do. Maybe I need to go and follow him in the chancery so I know whether it is and what he's doing, when's the game?
That's the money I've got.
Well,
I just want to claim state immunity, and he said at the end, it's to inform you. State is, that's what he said as well, and he's form your state as well, put your status. Claim your
Status
status.
is everything.
Yeah. If you look at faith, it's derived from feudalism. Yeah. And then the anagram of license is silence.
It's all in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm getting it on now.
Well, between here
Claim it, maybe parts of the people.
23 people say they are, that's not that's right. 9 years. 7 years. So there's basically the Vatican right now supports the Albertine line, which is supposedly Albert side of the church. But there's actually nine men of Rothschild side, and Hallett, so it's like Hallett, it's not even classic, so it's not actually a word. And what happened is, Queen Victoria married when she was 15, and this guy was 17, and they had a child. So, and this man was homosexual. He was never sexual. One of the royal child, reading rights, and yes, that leads to our this is a that's right. So the Catholic Church supports. Well, the Catholic support the Alberton, which was supposed children. There's actually other line, which is the more correct.
Hold on, like,
That's why it gives you straight back it. I hate having people stuff, you know.
I don't think it's worth it.
I need to speak my own stuff.
Recharging well, has it?
We won't recharge it. Is it in a USB 3 one?
I don't know.
I think it is, yeah.
No, it's not charging. Oh, that's why. Back on. It's alright, 22%. I'll sort that out, brother. I have a laptop here that charges. That one. Yeah, I was being quite pleasant to Greg then. I was just letting him know what we know, how we know it, where we go, what he needs to know. Send him stuff, suggest he frequent the.com, we'll explain in a bit. If he wants to have a chat, we can let him have a chat.
You'll get your head.
Not insult him, yeah.
No, so we'll get close and have a chat.
Told him about his...
If you can get past Andy, he'll do anything. That's what I told him. So you can't argue with that, can you?
No, brother.
If you can get past Andy, yeah. Who's that?
Oh yeah, he's got the other bit, Annie, there we go, that's charging. Wash. It's in the bottom like this, look, then I've had this. That's fucking godsend, that. Would have gone lost. Right, can we do this for the last bit? Let's get some posters, because it's quite a small group. This is what I like to do. Getting a bit forward, like this one, fill in a bit. Yeah, let's make it a bit more. Shifting everybody closer. You can hear that.
Well, no, that's what I came here for. Get asshole.
Who's next to bat? Who's next up to bat? You.
I might say some I want to say something.
I'm alright, mate.
Good to see you, my man.
Yeah, good to see you.
Where's Mark Saylor? Where's Steve McRae? Monkey T, mate? I'm supposed to know this. Steve was supposed to come on a hangout with us about 4 months ago, and he did that one. Yeah.
Mark Saylor hasn't been on YouTube for ages.
No, there's some rumours, but I don't know if it's true. It's mad, isn't it?
What's we got on the market then?
I don't listen to
You need to have a wee look at what that kid's got. He's got a document. He's saying the Queen's like a queen. The silent weapons quiet wars. That's a distraction. Mate, if you put that in any courtroom, they see that. And they feel like, it's showing that. IMF radiation protection. Been going to reading festivals as well, just just You're vaccinated, you're trying to tell people, you're trying to tell people, you just think, yeah, man, it's...
Oh no. We're good.
I think the word I'm looking for is ad hominem. You know what that is, don't you? Ad hominem, when you attack someone's characters, rather than asking why and how and who and what happened, who he's name. Getting the result with the council, I just need to chase it up because the council credit. I'm going to claim that you have to.
That's like your brain and your lungs. Your brain and your lungs there for breathing, but the troops upside down, they would be the leaves, and they would be the roots. Upside down.
Yeah, I've got a bag of sugar at home where I've got a water filter and I put sugar around the filter around the plastic and pour it in there, put it in the fridge and it tastes really...
It's lighter, isn't it? It
Yeah.
tastes light, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. It does. I didn't realise it was there when you pinch it.
Well, if you drink it, it's like, it's not, it doesn't feel like you just... I think I'll do that, yeah.
I've got you can get your shit. I've got a shower filter.
Yeah, I don't do anything. I just put it online. Stop it. And then it goes full and stuff like that. That's why I get people best. It's like the
Capcom, Captain Command, Captain Sports.
What's a games company? Capcom. Did Street Fighter as well.
There you go, look.
Yeah.
Irresistible sometimes, isn't it? Like I said, something it's got an hour bloody easy. Yeah, that's not fair.
I've spoken to Andy. No,
Turn this on.
I've been on Dave's YouTube channel. We just had a discussion and that. It was, you can't. It's so fair. It's free. It's free, and the connectivity is just. I've been to many seven, but this one for like putting people together, it's absolutely magical. You can't describe it. It's wonderful because we're all on the same purpose. We don't want to be under a thing which is feudalism. It's joys together. Feudalism comes with faith. If you watch Kyle last, it's amazing. And he's got the seas of commerce. Yeah, he's had one House of Hell that's been copyrighted, that, hasn't it, Dave?
What's that?
House of Hell and Kyle Last, that's been copyrighted for some reason.
What do you mean copyrighted? What? He's copyrighted it.
No, he's got a video on his Kyle Last.
Yeah.
He's got a House of Hell, and you go on it, you can't watch it. It says.
Oh. All right. So they've now took it off. Then, if you haven't downloaded it already, you can't watch it because it's been deleted and removed for copyright infringement. The fuckers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be dropping away as we speak.
I think in principle, I think to watch is see the comments of scenes which Andy and Dave described. It just says how the ships, the Phoenicians, how to cut a deal, because they used to deal wood and it all comes from the tree. There's some branches, and it's pretty bad. Sorry for the French. It's all syncretism as well. Santos Bonacci, he's active again, isn't he? Santos.
Yeah, he seems to be better now, doesn't he? He seems to have healed and got better.
Have you seen him recently?
No, he don't. He doesn't reply or he don't message me. He's obviously too busy. I don't know. He's healthy and fucking running around. I'm like, yo.
He's been doing that seminar with Joanne Johnson and Lemon with the Newcastle of the board out. I think they're in Mexico somewhere.
Oh, really?
They've been doing like secure party creditors seminars.
Did you see the hyphen glitch on Romley?
Oh yeah, I watched that the other night.
We already know all this. It's like, okay, but he's saying now, not the Chicago, the Oxford, and he's saying that the London bar uses Chicago styles. I don't know if that's right. And I've asked him to chat to us.
Yeah, has he got back to you?
Well, see, I've put a comment on his video and I've given him my email, but
Never heard nothing back.
here we go.
Yeah, on the birth certificate, bottom it's got like numbers on it. On your birth certificate, at the bottom date, it looks like a sort code,
They're going to
sort like that. Sort code, account number.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bottom there, and then your bottom number at the top.
that's why I love it. from Mark is coming. No one's ever going to get an answer for anything. It's all a personal. Yeah. Well, we would never interact with those. As long as we keep telling free laws, you've never challenged them.
Nothing. Here, brother. No, I'm just trying to set something up to see if I need to take some email addresses, but it's fucking about. I don't know why. What's up, Dad?
I went to CLC court last week, Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Saturday was the Great British Mortgage, but Benici didn't turn up. His Patty's done me out last minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He said, because he wanted to do a presentation, and John Smith said, and I talked to John Smith and another guy, I'm forgetting his name now. He said, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
He said,
what the fuck's this doing? Carry on.
He wanted a platform. He wanted to do a speech, a presentation, all about the Great British, and to sell his cinema tickets. And he said, no, it's not about, it's a common law court with the Jew. It's a proper court. It's not a seminar.
Yeah, yeah, it's a court hearing.
His words were, I'm not coming there.
Yeah.
So that was a Saturday. And then John Smith, I have some issues with CLC. Like I said, I registered all my stuff, my birth certificates, blah, blah, blah. And I put it up on your website. And then people were like, is it real? Is it not? I've not heard this. And I even confirmed, well, he's not getting back to any emails. I can't change anything. So I had suspicions.
Yeah.
So on the Sunday we went, and I was a jury on the Saturday for the mortgage swindle, and I went sheriff on the Sunday.
You was?
Yeah.
Oh, get in.
So I went just sheriff, that were easier job than jury.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said all the questions I wanted to ask him when he was talking at the beginning. Like, you can't access the site, we've got some glitches, we were working on it. And he said the site is set up so anyone can put the stuff up, so it's in the public, and it's dated. So he said, when you put your birth certificate up in your name, and you take back your fiction, and you are saying, I am living, blah, blah, blah. He says that's what it's for. It's not an interaction that you can to and fro. He said, but that's for you. So
register the document. So therefore you've given it, when you register, you give that to somebody else, don't you? So you've given the certificate to Commonwealth Court. They're legally responsible. Yeah, that's it. Declaration in the public, then that's good. Yeah, do either that's a doctrine of notices in essence, which is equitable remedy. Not common law, but I won't argue that. I need to move to You need to look at your for fuck's sake, they put me on first. Chat to him, he wants chat. Why won't it? Just make contact. Ross Brown as well, I tried him. He's a Scottish guy, because Edinburgh and what they're doing for the man up there. You know, Stephen Craig. What are you doing? Why am I talking about it? Scotsman. They're really honourable, renowned, and they John should have, whoever's told you that should have said something doctrine for us. Because the public is there, if nobody tested later on, equity, first time, first in line, so they're relying upon the maxims of equity to come through with the common law remedy. If it's on the maxims of equity, it's a private remedy, but it's a common law area with the publication of notices part. But what you've done is private to you. You can't go around telling them what you've done and all that, but it just makes sense. But I don't need to know what to do it, to know what they're doing, because I know the bits so I can work it out. Yeah, who was on trial? Who were they trying then in this court?
What was it, a civil thing for something? Or how did you get done there? Like, exactly, how did you get done?
What were it for you? For me, it was alright.
No, it's very crazy. He's been playing Dr. Dawson said he's a fucking government agent, did he not? His YouTube video. Oh, God, John Smith's an agent. Well, okay, I'll be last year. Okay, that makes sense. Who is he then? That's he won't speak to us, so that's not good. Very friendly. We're not experts in all that automatic. Otherwise, we've got com now. Not SBL.
That was the key thing. And then and then
You need that trust. We said something about when I was on holiday. Did you get a template of a trust to look at? Download it. It's about trust. It's all about certificate. And I said, you can still do private trust and asset protection. And you can person manage. Yeah, I know you do, but you just have one foot on the land and keep the commerce, and that's that, and you know who you are, so you'll never get mixed up, will you? You'll never be called Mister. You're not Mister, you haven't. Guys, do you want to come to the front? We'll do some question and answers. And, you don't have to stay where you are. I'm just going to talk about some bits and bobs.
I'm just going with the flow, mate, Dave.
I'll take some questions from you if you want some questions answering. When it comes to the front, yeah, get to the front. Don't be shy. Give it a try. Any questions? Try me.
No risk, no reward.
Anything you want. You have me. I've got something to show you though about names and titles and people. So I went to Groupon, £12. I bought a little bit of land and I got this 2 certificates or bits of paper, and it says there's a deed with entitlement. When you have property, you have a deed, a title deed to it. So they've given me a bit of land, which is a square foot. There's a red bull. Oh, wait, me and my bulls and my C's and that. Like, a red bull. It's signed by Charles Celion Dixon, Spain. So I'll pass this around for you to have a look at. It's got a title, Lord David, I'm his master. But my person, this is for my person, not for me. I've decorated my person with the Lord by going to Groupon and getting the letter. I've just laminated it to show it, just so you can see. It's interesting. So my person now has gone from Mr. to Lord or Laird. The thing is, when you want to make an online reservation, holiday booking, getting a train ticket, put Laird or Lord, if you do go down this comical route of play. And when they see the booking, sometimes they upgrade you to first class because they think
you're a Lord.
Yeah, and you'll get there. It's only happened once in London, and then I got there. And I was like, Lord Jeremita, Garamatria. They got me this complimentary room. You know, it was only an hotel upgrade, but so you can just have fun with it. That's a default. When you'll see on the certificate of birth of the person's got Hamlin and my mum and dad's details, but then I did a default so I can be Jeremita. And you've got on here the languages, deed as a title, certificate, so we've got a deed change embossed with the authority stamp. It's got witnesses on it, it's got dated and everything. It says about I'm going to renounce, relinquish and abandon the use of my former name, Hamlet, and assume and adopt and determine. So if you look at the languages on that, that's the default.
What is it?
That's from Groupon to say I've got some land and that's where the land is. It's signed off with the stamp. So
To make you a lord?
Yeah, when you're a landlord,
landlord,
when you're on land, the Mister on here is now the title Mister. It's gone from Master to Mister.
Transfer of title.
Anybody says I'm not a lord, yes I am. Well, yes, he is. He's the law. I'm a master.
I heard about this early when square of land even.
That's it, 1 foot. So 40 for £10, and you got that. So you are it's just got the castle. So they're raising funds for the castle by selling bits of land and giving you the coordinates of that bit of land.
So you're on king, basically.
Charles Dixon displayed Red Bull, and I'm like, woo, red flags, mother. When I got it, I was like, yes. So you missed it, going to law, laird, Scottish is laird. And that's a deed that says it there, so anybody says, when I go travelling, I have to say the passport, that, this, and this. And then I go, there's that, there's the passport, that means that's not that. So I kept handling on the passport for 6 years after that, so I got a signed off year 2013. My passport expired in 2019. I went to court 8 times. Handling passport, and it changed my name to Jeremita. So by all accounts, she says the passport I've been changing. No, I never did. Nobody said nothing. I did the bookings in handling, but it says at the top, I swear, I absolutely, whatever, abandoned, but I didn't abandon it. I thought, you say that. And I travelled for 5 years with Jeremita, legal change, and handling passport. Nobody said cheese. And if you should only want, so, for Jeremita, legal change, now Jeremita, and I'm travelling on handling. They're never going to find me, are they? That's why I left it. And then when I changed it to Jeremita the other month, I went to see my mum, thought, this is it now. Red flag city, here we go. And again. So it's not as scary as what we think as well. When they say warrants are out for your arrest, we will telephone you with a robot, and they say, oh wait, kiss my hand. That's when I changed it to, that's what it was. All the evidence to back it up, but that's just getting shit. That's me, the man of man. And David, who are you? I'm David. You have me proof. Let's just have it, let's see. We've got it, we've got it. When you fall, they take the prints and you wave and your blood and send it off to the Office of Vital Statistics, don't they? They know your blood type, they know your print, you've got them. That's your original. When they say, right, when anybody says your driving licence has been revoked and you need to renew your driving licence, they'll ask for your card, your plastic card, and they'll say that's not your driving licence, that's a bit plastic in the photo one. That's your other bit, your licence as well. And they ask you to send your card in.
You can deregister it back and give it back to the trustee.
Yeah, I signed the set law that was on, and all rights reserved by the signature. So all rights reserved and set law. Keep that, because the officers ever take it, the counterpart, which is Jeremita, and then I just put set law. I should have put Grand Tour, you see, that was in the early days when we got America, set law, wagons, Wild West, settlements, pioneer, front line, they were settling, they actually did, and they set the law because they killed all the buffalo. And Indians, oh really, had grants and monarchy, the original, we're the ones where it came from, so it's different. The New World, the Americans is the New World, the Americans are referred to as the New World, so it's the New World, testing out to do ships, maritime, yeah. Come from that place.
So, is there any way then that I could get him out of his birth certificate?
Correct the titles. You would use it. You wouldn't get out of it. You wouldn't use it correctly. So you need to let the Attorney General know, the Secretary of State.
So you couldn't I couldn't just go back down to registry office and say I've made a mistake.
No, you can ask for disclosure. So like disclosure on the birth certificate from the Registrar General. So that's in Liverpool. There's deaths and registrar in Liverpool. Then there's the Ministerial Department for births, deaths, marriages. There's the Ministry of Principal. What would he be called? Attorney General. Registrar General in the government now is the one that's the military general who would be responsible. So that's him. For disclosure, like if you're going to go to the court, you can let the Attorney General know, who's the general in charge of the military or the court. I will go, be a special appearance in non-representative capacity for civil issues against your person and give me disclosure on the birth certificate. Otherwise, take this. Tell me the real story, Or if not, this is how it will be. So you sort of general out report and sort of general out diversity. Now, you've done your honourable thing, so you don't need to send the certificate back. You can write to the ones that issue it, it says new information's come to hand, manager general report, manager general third case registrar, and this is what I believe, my belief, this is who I am. You can teach how to syntax grammar and do the separation of the person to the man, autograph, whatever. See, authority comes from the ship. You say autograph, author, and all of that, which is great. You've got to know the authority of the ship. See, it's still a boat, it's a powerful boat, and if you know what boat you're on, you can use these boats. They won't harm themselves. You would ask them to consider that they would have to be noticed. And if they're in a position in a trust, and they're operating in a trust, these are rules of trust that say, if you're in that trust and you then get moved from the position, you can get moved to a trustee, and you can stay in a trust, who's already operating in a trust. And that's nothing like the thing though, it's governable by UK legislation and contracts and all that. So all things are off. To their system, I'm not really
It's a journey.
Besides that, and go from the water to the top, and you say then from the top to the ship, and they say no, comes in the 1911 Act, and damages and etc. and charges, so we've got everything we need. What's wrong? This is where the Freeman, Article 61, lawful rebellion, Justice Walker, and Bradford Pound. You were walking central bank, why would you push that? Are you retarded? Oh, my dad was in banking. Oh, was he now? Your dad was in banking, that makes perfect sense then. Have you been paid to see this? Are you working for your dad? You're working for the family. They're obliged to know all, and then you make a decision. If you don't know the decision, much like your father's, then you have nothing. Nothing. They do, but some of them, yeah.
No, I mean, like, took me down to about money and that, and all that.
When did the Magna Carta stop?
About money, it's not quite right, anything. Someone who's working with bank, taking it.
Yeah.
No, why they are?
Just a smaller ship. Not really going to do what I ask, are you?
Yeah. Don't watch this out. What people listen to Magna Carta is maritime law. Yeah. And equity as well. Yeah. All interconnected. Yeah.
You can't even tell anyone because they won't believe you.
Some things I'm one of them, I have to do it here and now, more here and now, sort of guy.
Yeah. Is that on the mercantile?
It's going to be.
Making it secure for the others.
You've got television. I used to walk in the house and just put television on. That atmosphere, what I thought were atmosphere, weren't atmosphere, but that misconstrued mistake. Something that underneath the brain said, oh, you need that. Just as little as that is. Yeah, you'd say.
See, this is your house.
Because the parents thought they got on
Listen to when he talks about investing and so forth. His name is Robert. He is asking for contracts. How rich working on forming I feel sorry for them, I want to help them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you use it. If I want Latin, I'm trying to learn something. It's like codes and try to humiliate I'm going, why is that? Don't ask why, don't change it. Don't ask why, don't ask questions. You're not sturdy enough, and you're not iron to go get. They'll just do well.
Well, they're going to test you, aren't they? When you get to go to why you're here in the first place, because you're not going to pay for it, right? So do you know your stuff really? And if you don't, mate, you're going to get in shit, aren't you?
It's the other bit, which is the
Well, you've got to learn that you're in God.
You're preachers, people in the church, I'm helping you out. Go down at water.
Get this off. Bam.